When Balenciaga's designer Pierpaolo revealed that Meghan Markle had not been invited to Paris Fashion Week but had in fact requested to attend, the fashion world raised its eyebrows. But it was Lady Colin Campbell who took that revelation and delivered the most devastating critique of Meghan's behavior to date, a sharp, unfiltered takedown that sliced through the Duchess's carefully constructed image with surgical precision. Lady Colin Campbell, known for her fearlessness and refusal to sugarcoat, didn't merely comment on the situation, she dissected it. She accused Meghan of being a serial self-promoter, someone who will bend and twist the truth if it helps her appear more desirable, more powerful, more wanted than she actually is. In Lady Colin's view, the Balenciaga lie wasn't an isolated incident, it was simply the latest chapter in a long pattern of calculated self-elevation. According to Pierpaolo, Meghan's team reached out to Balenciaga to request a spot at the show. There was no personal invitation, no exclusive outreach from the brand. But rather than presenting her attendance honestly, Meghan's camp reportedly spun it as though she had been personally invited by the elite fashion house. For most observers, this was just another example of Meghan's obsession with optics. For Lady Colin Campbell, it was proof of something deeper, a chronic inability to be straightforward. Lady Colin blasted Meghan as someone who fabricates circumstances to make herself look like the center of attention, pointing out that she has repeatedly tried to position herself as a woman relentlessly pursued by the world's most prestigious institutions, whether royal, media, or fashion. She constantly tries to make it appear as if she's the one being begged to appear, Lady Colin said in her characteristic, razor-edge delivery, when in fact, she's the one doing the begging. This commentary cut to the core of Meghan's public strategy. Since stepping away from the royal family, Meghan has worked to project an image of global influence and cultural power, the woman who doesn't need institutions because institutions need her. But time and again, Lady Colin has pointed out the contradictions. She has observed, and often ridiculed, the way Meghan claims to be above elite systems while simultaneously craving their validation. The Paris Fashion Week incident gave Lady Colin the perfect opening to unleash a broader critique. She described Meghan's behavior as pathetic and transparent, calling it yet another example of her trying to insert herself into spaces where she doesn't organically belong, then rewriting the narrative to make it look as though she was hand-selected. Lady Colin has no patience for what she sees as performative grandeur. Her attack went further than just this one fashion event. She tied Meghan's actions to a larger pattern of manipulation, the Oprah interview, the constant rebranding, the selective truths told in public appearances. In Lady Colin's view, Meghan's lie about Balenciaga isn't surprising because this is what Meghan does, she manufactures prestige when she can't naturally command it. This sharp critique lands especially hard because Lady Colin Campbell has been observing the Sussexes' moves for years. Unlike commentators who treat each incident in isolation, she views them as parts of a consistent strategy. Her criticism is not emotional, it's analytical, precise, and relentless. She portrays Meghan not as a misunderstood figure but as a calculating operator constantly seeking to project an image of importance, even when reality doesn't match. Lady Colin didn't hold back on tone either. She mocked the absurdity of trying to claim an invitation from a brand like Balenciaga, whose guest lists are tightly controlled and whose prestige doesn't hinge on Meghan Markle's presence. Balenciaga doesn't need her, she essentially argued. She needs Balenciaga. And when the designer himself exposed the truth, Lady Colin saw it not as a minor slip but as a fundamental exposure of Meghan's methods. She also called Meghan's obsession with elite validation tragic, noting that for someone who claims to champion independence and authenticity, Meghan's actions often suggest a deep insecurity. A woman who truly stands on her own doesn't need to invent invitations, Lady Colin declared. She earns them, or she simply doesn't care. This is where Lady Colin's criticism strikes hardest. She exposes the gap between what Meghan says she represents and what she actually does. Meghan positions herself as a modern, empowered woman redefining tradition. Yet her every move, from Hollywood deals to Fashion Week appearances, seems designed to mimic and exaggerate the trappings of the very elite approval she claims to transcend. Paris Fashion Week could have been a neutral, even positive moment. There's nothing wrong with requesting to attend a major fashion show, celebrities do it constantly. But, as Lady Colin pointed out, Meghan can't simply attend like everyone else, she must always appear as though the world revolves around her. That's what makes her behavior not just transparent but exhausting. Lady Colin's blistering words framed the entire incident not as a PR blunder but as a revealing glimpse into Meghan's character. She portrayed Meghan as someone addicted to constructing illusions of grandeur, unwilling to occupy her actual place in the hierarchy, and constantly frustrated when reality refuses to bend to her narrative. In Lady Colin Campbell's world, there's little tolerance for spin, and even less for what she perceives as Meghan's compulsive self-mythologizing. Her commentary didn't just criticize Meghan, it obliterated the image Meghan tried to create around Paris Fashion Week.